This is.
Welcome to a brand new episode, everyone. Congratulations. The Seattle Seahawks are the world champs. We got the Super Bowl. We came, we saw, we conquered. It was amazing. A lot of people kind of complaining about how it was a boring game. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. There was a couple parts where I was a little nervous. It was like, the momentum's shifting, but we had the momentum almost the whole game, and that's just what you want. You know, we dominated on both sides of the ball, and no complaints here. Congratulations, Seattle Seahawks. Let's go. Woo! My favorite team, the Seahawks, win the Super Bowl. It happened. It happened. I told you how many episodes ago, months ago, I said, I think it can happen. I think Seattle can win the Super Bowl. They can not only go to the Super Bowl, they can win the Super Bowl. I said that long before they were in the playoffs. I said it months ago. I need to find that clip. All right. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to talk about. Love y'all on the East Coast. Let's go. MXPX.com. We have merch. We have GSF if you want to join the club. We have these jackets, little gray jackets, windbreakers for GSF. And we have, hold on. This pin. We got this pin. This, I'm joining GSF. I've made up my mind. The logo right here. It's an acrylic pin. Perfect for your collection. And we have vinyl, we have t-shirts, hoodies, the whole 9 yards. We got it. It's all at MXPX.com. And MXPX and the Ataris are going to be in Washington, D.C. in March. That's right. Coming up kind of soon. It's coming up. It's coming up. And I'm just going to go over to the website real quick. Upcoming shows. We got Thursday, March 26th, 9:30 Club, Washington, D.C. Friday, March 27th, the NorVa, Norfolk, Virginia. Saturday, March 28th, the Fillmore in Charlotte, North Carolina. Sunday, March 29th, Charleston Music Hall in Charleston, South Carolina. And then we have MXPX, Goldfinger, Zebrahead, and Homegrown at Mission Ballroom, Denver, Colorado on Saturday, April 11th. And then coming up this summer, actually it's in September 5th, MXPX is playing the Punkadeka Festival 2026 in Milan, Italy. That's right. That's what we got. We will see you there. I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast on wherever you're listening, whatever you're listening on, whether it's my YouTube channel or any of the podcast streaming apps. All right. Appreciate you. And let's get into it. We got some questions today. If you want to call in, be part of it, please. The number is 1-360-830-6660. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get some questions. This is from the Mike Herrera Facebook group, podcast Facebook group. Not just mine, it's the podcast. If you haven't already joined, you can do that for free. But some people wrote some messages. I thought I would play them here and answer those questions. From Dagger Islani. Hey, Mike, sorry to bother you, but I always wanted to ask you about your vocals live. When are you singing live? Sorry, let me try that again. Hey, Mike, sorry to bother you, but I always wanted to ask you about your vocals live. When you are singing live, are you really singing overly loud, or are you just singing kind of like you were singing along to the radio in your car or something? Because I'm constantly singing in clubs, and I'm always having to really push myself just to hear over the band. Great question. Question is, when I'm singing live, am I really singing that loud? Yeah, I'm singing pretty loud. I would say I'm singing pretty hard, pretty loud. I mean, when we record albums, I'm singing harder than I sing live. But I feel like it sounds more energetic when we're actually live, because I think everything that's going on around you adds to the energy, adds to the mood, adds to the vibe. But yes, I'm singing very loud. I'm not just kind of no. I'm going for it. So I'm feeling sad from days gone long. It's like something like that. I'm just pushing air pretty hard. And when you're in a club singing along and you're trying to push yourself to hear over the band, that's beautiful, by the way. But that's also why I have to sing so loud, because we're all pushing to make ourselves heard. So no tricks, really. Just sing hard, sing loud. Don't push your voice out to where it blows out, and that's no good. But you kind of feel the threshold of where your voice is strong, and that's where I live. I live in that threshold. Just boom, boom, boom. All right. I hope that answered your question. Sing loud. You're not doing anything wrong by doing that. All right. So number 2, are you playing the Goldfinger show in Toronto with them? From Jair Aelen. Yeah. As far as I know, all of the shows that Goldfinger has, I will be playing bass for, unless for some reason MXPX has a show and I can't make it. That's always a possibility. Even then, I try to make it. We try to do what we can. So, yeah, I'll be there. All right. Next up, we have from Barbara. Went to see the show last night at Fillmore. First time seeing MXPX. Such a good show. The lyrics and music was great, and the band was so professional and talked to the audience often to express their gratitude for being there. By the way, I am 70 years old and accompanied my daughter. So glad she asked me to join her. Wow. Thank you so much for coming out to the show. You're 70 years young. Amazing. And you brought your daughter, or did your daughter bring you? Thank you so much for writing. Thanks for the compliment. Thanks for coming out to the show. The Fillmore was great. We had the best time of our lives. My mom was also there. She's in her 70s. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being there. Yeah. Speaking of moms and elderly ages, are you guys aware that Savannah Guthrie's mom got kidnapped? Like, what? I don't know if it's like a real story or if it's like there's some conspiracy happening, but that is mind-blowing. And my wife keeps asking me, have you heard the latest on Savannah Guthrie's mom? And so I don't know what's going on. There's always some weird mystery happening throughout the world, throughout whatever year we may be in right now. I don't know, you guys. I'm taking it all in, but I'm also trying not to take it all in. I'm trying to protect my brain. All right, what's next? January 25th. This was just last month. Hi, Mike. I am in California on family vacation. I'm from Argentina. I was lucky enough that you announced the San Francisco date days after I bought my plane tickets. It was a dream come true seeing you guys yesterday. I loved the show. Been a fan since I was 18. Now I'm 44. Thank you, and keep having that energy. I felt it last night. From Juan Manuel Pets. Thank you, Juan. Dude, I'm so glad it worked out. I'm so glad you came out to the Fillmore as well. Like I said, we had the time of our lives. It was so much fun. That venue, it's beautiful. It's not so huge that you can't see anything. No matter where you are, you've got a good view, and I love that about the Fillmore. But it is a great venue. It's a classic venue. I saw Tom Petty famously did a bunch of shows there. We opened for Joe Strummer there. Tumble Down, my other band, opened for Social Distortion years ago there. So yeah, we've done our own shows there. It was great. So thanks for being part of it. Thanks for coming from Argentina. All right, we got a couple more from the message board. All right, so this guy actually replied to my story, and I took a screenshot. He goes, my story was me playing an acoustic show, a solo private acoustic show in somebody's house. And I was like, whoa, that's another life for sure. Because I remember this picture was in Texas. And here's the picture. But that was in Texas. That was got to be 10 years ago now, right? I think that was the whole point. And Justin Granado wrote to me and said, so you're not for hire anymore? Almost talked my buddy into booking you, but he got in trouble with his wife at the time and had to buy her a new purse instead. Yeah. It's not that I'm not for hire anymore. It's that there are different eras and cycles of life and the career that we're doing here with MXPX. For a while there, it was in between MXPX records. It was before we really got going hard in the paint, doing shows with MXPX. And so, yeah, I was doing a lot of solo acoustic private shows. I was doing ticketed shows as well. I played the Kessler. What was the other place? I think the Kessler is in Dallas, Fort Worth area. But I played in Houston. It was great. I mean, anyway, we made a vinyl record out of that. I played in Wake Up. Excuse me, I'm burping. Am I burping or am I hiccuping? I can't tell. Anyway, so I think eventually I will do acoustic shows again. But right now, MXPX is super busy and I just don't have the time to do it, to focus on it. But yeah, I love doing that kind of stuff. I love getting to meet fans, getting to meet people that have been listening to MXPX and my music for a long time. And then I get to go in their house and play a show. And it's so intimate. It's so special. It's so different from a show I would do acoustically ticketed in a theater and an MXPX show. Of course, it's so much different. So always fun. It's not as cheap as you think. I started out, I think the first solo show I ever did was probably I did it for like $300 or something like that. And then it's just only exploded from there, unfortunately. But fortunately and unfortunately, right? And now it's almost ridiculous how much people pay me to go play. It's wild, and I appreciate you guys, so thank you. I try to do my very best, no matter where I'm at. It could be 3 people watching. It could be 3,000 people watching. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put on the show that's appropriate for that audience. I'm going to try to anyway, right? So, all right, one more question from the message board. I know you ain't going to see this, but I absolutely loved seeing you play tonight because you're the reason why I started playing bass. Learned almost every MXPX song because of you, and seeing your life and energy on stage tonight was just incredible. Keep it up, man. From Dexter Hutchinson. Thank you, Dexter. I appreciate you. Thank you for writing. Thanks for being part of the community. We got a couple voicemails for you, but I just wanted to read some questions that I got online on the message board there. All right, you guys. So much going on. But this GSF jacket is very cool. Jacket, GSF. It's a special one. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get to your voicemails. What do you say? First up.
Hey, Mike. Travis from San Diego here. Longtime fan. An MXPX show was my first pit experience when I was like maybe 14. This was on your first or second tour, maybe 95 or 96. It was in like a 50-person room in Lakeland, Florida. I think the place was called Happy Days. You might remember this, but pretty funny. Like we were all jammed in there, just getting sweaty, doing the thing. Takes the way back. But yeah, I got to take my 2 boys a couple weeks ago. They're ages 10 and 12 to Punk Rock Christmas. We drove out to Arizona. Super fun. They were the ones pit side in Santa hats. They loved meeting you off the show. It was great. Before a quick question, I do have a funny piece of MXPX history to share in case you've forgotten over the years. You mentioned on the last podcast that your son is a fan of Eminem, and MXPX technically performed with him back in 2000. So when I tell you guys at Punk Rock Christmas, I reminded you about the show Farm Club, which was hosted by Matt Pinfield and Ali Landry. It was on the USA Network around that time. And the premise of the show was that an unsigned indie band would get enough fan votes to get flown out to LA, and they could play with established artists and meet them and things like that. And so I was one of those emerging bands. We were a punk rock band called the Sloppy Measures, and we recorded a performance in the same day with you guys, which was really, really fun. You guys played Responsibility. It was new at the time, and of course you all smoked us. it was awesome. But it was a fun experience. We all recorded, you guys too, with Destiny's Child on that day. So I know we got to meet Beyonce and friends, and you guys probably did cool. I think you did too. I think Coolio was walking around. But when they actually aired the show, they put all of us on the same episode with Eminem, who had actually recorded the week before, so he wasn't there when we were there. But like, if you watch the show, it looks like we were all there. So there you go. MXPX with Eminem. Not that you get like extra street credit with your son, but there it is. So It's cool. But now for my question. You may already know this with kids of your own, but fingerboards or tech decks by brand name are having a big resurgence around middle school age. Would you all consider putting some of the MXPX deck designs on some of the tech decks in your future? That would be rad. My kids and their buddies would be like immediate buyers. Probably myself too, because it's just fun. But yeah, that's it, man. Just appreciate what y'all do. Love the podcast now, because I was just turned on to it recently. Like, cool, you've been doing this for so long, and yeah, just love it. See you, man.
Dude, thanks for the call, Travis. I appreciate it. Dude, right away, tech decks already in the works, already planned. Like, the idea is there. We got the idea from Suicide Machines. You know, they have some tech decks. It's perfect for MXPX. We are such a skate punk band. We have decks. We have T-shirts and, you know, the Punkadeka punk. It's just, it makes so much sense. So great idea, Travis. I appreciate it. Yeah, but we're working on that. And of course, we have we have so many things we're working on. Like, it's like an assembly line. You know, you got to get closer to the end and get it done. But we are working on that, as well as a ton of stuff. So Farm Club, man, blast from the past. Yeah, I remember Matt Pinfield was the sweetest guy, still is, so great. Always a champion for up and coming bands, people that maybe haven't hit it big time yet. He was always cool to everybody, no matter what. That's my experience with Matt Pinfield. And Coolio, I think we said, "Hey, what's up, Coolio? How you doing?" We met Coolio. And then Eminem. Yeah, I didn't really remember Eminem because obviously he wasn't there that night. And I don't think I actually watched the episode Farm Club. I never watched it, so I didn't. I saw our clip of it, but I didn't see the whole thing. Always weird to do those kind of fake shows, kind of deal, like where they have a fake audience and everybody's like, "Hey," but also it's fine. It's fine to do. You know, it's funny about Eminem. I'm pretty sure he was on the Warped Tour. I don't know if he was on the same year as us one year, but definitely Kid Rock was on one year. Limp Bizkit was on one year. Eminem was on one year. Ice-T with Body Count was on. So over the years, we got to briefly meet quite a few people, you know, that ended up making it pretty huge. Warped Tour really has a tendency to do that. You know, if you look at a lot of the Warped bands that used to headline all the time, I mean, you think Blink-182 has gotten absolutely massive, like Green Day, absolutely massive. I feel like, you know, those are probably the two main ones. Bad Religion hasn't really gotten massive. I think, you know, their MXPX is sort of headed in the same direction as Bad Religion, where just they are huge, but they're not like Blink-182 huge. You know, they do great throughout the country, throughout the world. But some of these bands, you know, that went on to just have a massive following. Congratulations, Blink. Congratulations, Green Day. You know, both of them doing great. So, hey, you know, when punk rock does great, when people love to go see punk shows, that just helps out MXPX as well. I feel like the more people want to see Green Day and Blink, the more they're going to want to see MXPX. And when they see, I mean, Green Day is pretty good. They're a great live band. No complaints. Blink-182, a little rough, but their perfection is not what the show is about. It's about their personalities. It's about what they bring to the stage, and I respect that for sure. That's not easy to do. It's not something you can just not think about and then it just happens. Like, you got to really work on things. So congratulations to both of those bands, and you know, raise the rising tide lifts all boats, so they say, right? So, all right. Thanks for that call, Travis. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mike, it's Nate. We got one back on the Kraken last night with the Bruins winning, so it's good now we're even. So I know you're rooting for your team. It's tough because I like both teams now. So if they could both win, that'd be cool. But we split it at least 1-1, which is cool. So I want this call to be about you and what you do to get ready for your shows. I know you talked about the vocal warm-ups before, but how do you mentally get ready? Do you think about the set list? Do you run through the songs in your head? Do you have like a specific mental preparation you do to get ready for the bass toss as well? You know, I know in the fitness world, if I think about my clients, what I have to do in terms of training, getting mentally prepared for them and having that mental energy as well. how do you keep your energy up and go from the beginning all the way through? What is your kind of thought on that? Love to hear that. Love to see a show when you do come around to the Boston, Massachusetts area at some point. Hopefully it's this summer, but definitely love how you bring the energy, and it's always consistent, which I think is amazing and hard to do. So you're a true professional. But just wondering that. Hope you're having a good start to your year, and talk soon. Bye.
Great question. Real quick, Kraken. Congratulations. They're doing well. They really turned this season around, and they're on a hot streak right now. I feel like they're playoff bound, and Seattle's we got a hot streak. Mariners, Seahawks, Kraken. It's all kind of just cracking off. You know what I'm saying? But appreciate that. God. All right. So my vocal warm ups. How do I warm up for a show? A couple things. Vocal warm-ups, like you said, yes, I hum, something like that. I do, I stretch a lot. I do push-ups, not a ton of push-ups. I would say do like 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups tops. Like just get your body primed but not tired. And stretch out a lot, roll my neck a lot, kneel down, stretch my back. I just make sure everything's limber and loose. And with vocal warm-ups, I do scales. If I have an acoustic guitar, I'll do like scales like this. But I'll sing it. So I'll go me 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 me. Or if you do me, mo, moo, do all the sounds if you really want to get into it, like ma 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 ma. Mo 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 me 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 wah 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 wah, whatever, like that, right? Or you can go me 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 or me 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 me. Just follow the notes. Before you know it, your voice sounds like butter and you're ready to go. But to be honest, a lot of times I don't even do the full-on warm-up. I just sing along with, like, the Ataris are opening. I'll sing along with them. I'll go out the side stage and just, last night I had a dream. Just sing along and it gets your voice ready to go. Mentally, that's the biggest. Honestly, I always need a second to go over the set list, and we do it with the guys, with MXPX. Tom will quarterback it and go over all our transitions, what we're going to go from this to this, and then we do this. If there's any special moments, we'll mention it. And that's just a map, just mapping out what we're going to do, just like you would, if you're going to invade a city or something. You're like, all right, we've got troops on this side, we're going to flank, and then we're going to go, and we have our reserves are going to come in at the end, and boom, take the city, sacked. That's kind of what we do, honestly. And when I'm just me personally by myself or whatever, I'm mentally thinking about what I need to do. I'm stretching it out. I'm remembering, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And sometimes that doesn't happen, and if I'm really worried about it, I'll write it on my set list, a little note, that kind of thing, like do that. Because there are so many directions to go when you're doing a show. There are a lot of things you can talk about. There are a lot of things you can skip over and just go into the song. So for me, I really try to go with the flow. When the audience is feeling something, when something happens, I really like, let's go towards that. Let's push ourselves towards that because that's happening. It's real. Rather than let's do the same show exactly the same way every single time. Like, you don't want to necessarily do that. You've got your key points, but then you can play within those lines. It's almost like coloring outside the lines a little bit, but in an artistic way. All right, I think those are the main things. Vocal warm-ups, stretch out your body, mentally prepare by just going over what your set's going to be, what your key points are going to be for the show. Besides that, all you can do is just get your energy up. I usually can feel the adrenaline start to rise in my body, and there's nothing you can do about it except embrace it and use it. And that's what I do. I use my energy, I use my anxiety, I use the nervousness, and it all goes to a positive place. It all goes towards a positive place. All right, let's do one more I got to check this. All right, good. Somebody's calling me, but it didn't stop the video. All right, let's do one more.
Mike and Stewart from Kentucky. Sometime in the past couple of years, I called in just with a general freak out about the future of live music, the future of music in general, holograms and AI and tribute bands and all that. So AI is like, when it started coming on strong, the hype, it was just like, you know, with the power of AI, blah, 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 and I'm like, just so, I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't want to do this. You know, I'm 46 years old. I've been a freelance graphic designer, web designer dude for a while. And like the main thing I do now is like editing video, and I'm doing a lot of, you know, reels and TikToks and the shorts from YouTube. Yeah, I do a lot of that stuff. So, you know, boy, I've got my main client now. He's actually teaching a course basically for, you know, older business owners to like learn how to master AI and incorporate into their business and things. And between that and lately I've been on this YouTube rabbit hole of just kind of learning about how all of it works, you know, behind the scenes. And, you know, some of them are sort of conspiratorial. I'm trying not to go crazy with the rabbit hole of, you know, the technocrats are out to get us and institute neo-feudalism and, you know, nobody will own anything except for them and that sort of thing. It's hard for me not to believe that. I'm, you know, whatever. But my main client there, you know, he's always, you know, irritated about, you know, my bill and it's too much. He asks me to do a lot, right? Anyway, but so Mr. AI guy, now I'm starting to incorporate it into some of my work as far as like coaching me on, you know, better scripts, better captions, better, you know, just give me some ideas. And I try not to use it too much because, you know, I'm not trying to like deplete all of Texas's water supply. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts about where we're at now, where we're going? I don't know if you've like done a lot of research on it. I'm going to assume that you have not used like Suno to help you write any songs. That's kind of where I draw the line personally as a musician. And all this AI slot music is just disgusting, and I'm so angry whenever I hear it. So that's it, man. Just pontificate. Tell me some things. Tell me how you're feeling about stuff and where you think things are going. Later.
This is a big wormhole. Yeah, AI, where is it all going? I feel like we're always being propagandized to. We're always being sold something. And so when things get sold really hard, I don't necessarily always right away shut it down, but after a while I go, wait a minute. I go, it's the same thing over and over. This is not the savior they say it's going to be. So my thoughts on AI, they're always changing. They're always evolving. When AI first came about, I was like, I don't know. And then it was like, okay, ChatGPT and all these different apps you can get makes it real easy to ask questions. And I honestly find myself just using a browser. Like I just use my web browser and I ask the same question you might ask ChatGPT. You get kind of the same answers. You get, it's still AI on the browser. There's no way to get around it. So the whole water thing and I don't know. Like I hate that. I hate that something that is really meant to be helping us is hurting us. And I'm not sure if it's all one-sided or if it's just like everything that has pros and cons to it. I think time will tell, but one thing I'm not doing is I'm not putting all my eggs into the AI basket. I'm not going all in on AI. I don't really use it for much, honestly. Like I wish AI worked for edits, you know, like video edits, but nothing is good. When you put you let AI do something, it always comes back less than what I can do. And so I'm always just like, the only good thing about AI is like maybe organizing a bunch of jumbly words into a list of words. Like it can do that pretty good. But when you ask it to do math, half the math is going to be wrong. And I don't know math well, so I'm not going to know that it's wrong. So with AI, you got to do your due diligence. You got to double check your work. And so I think if you can find AI to work for you personally, and you can find some workaround that actually helps your life, by all means, go for it. When it's people just, I get it that a lot of people want to have fun and make themselves look like a cartoon and stuff like that. I don't get mad when people do that. That's fine. It's like I said, it might be, a lot of people say it's killing our water supply because it takes so much water to use AI, as well as all these data centers that are just sucking all of the energy, all the power from the grid. That's not good. So that's kind of a new thing that's starting to get out there. Like the information is starting to spread. And to be honest, I kind of recently found out about all the water usage in the data centers. And then, but part of me goes, okay, well, who's talking about that? Are these people that want AI to fail? Is this actually a real thing? Probably is a real thing. But you know what I'm saying? Like you got to ask those questions. I like that you're kind of asking those questions yourself. You're in this weird place where you're a graphic designer and you know that AI isn't that good. It's not that good. I mean, AI can't write a better song than I can write. Maybe it can write a more together song, but I feel like all the ideas that I come up with, AI ain't going to come up with that. It ain't going to come up with that in the same way. And so I feel like as long as people like what I do with MXPX, I'm gonna stay in business. But you can't ever take anything for granted because things change quickly. Things change and leave a lot of people in the dust. So, for people that are out there in an office building doing work for a big company, they're going to be asked to use AI all the time, I'm sure, because productivity, you want to keep those numbers rising faster and faster. And AI is kind of promised to be our savior in a lot of ways. UBI, Universal Basic Income, is a thing that people talk about how, well, if most of the population loses their jobs because of robots and AI, what do? We have no income, no way to live. That's where UBI comes in. Now, is that a good idea to just give people money to live? It would be probably a minimum, like a $2,000 or $3,000 a month or something, something to like help you eat and live. But it's not going to give you a luxurious lifestyle by all means. But my opinion on that is I don't know. I don't. It's probably. I would like a world where you can work and get paid a good, decent wage to do that work. That doesn't always happen around here, right? And now companies aren't hiring. Like Amazon is firing, they fired 16,000 people, and they're using AI probably for most of the stuff. I mean, AI isn't the evil. It's the people that use it, and it's like the gun thing, right? It's not guns that kill people. It's people that kill people. Guns make it easier. It's kind of like that. I think AI can be used for good, but is it too much? Do we need all these data centers? And I don't know. Probably not. It's probably a bad idea. Now, I hate giving these like hot takes because usually when you say AI is bad, something comes up and it's like actually used for good. Or the other way around, AI is all good and then it's used for bad and a bunch of people die. I mean, here's another thing, like driverless cars. A lot of people love the idea of not having to drive their car. Just sit in the seat, blah, blah, blah. But if that car hits somebody and it's your car, are you liable or are you not liable? If you were driving, you would be liable. But if you're not driving, who's liable? So there's a lot of these new questions that come about when technology gets ramped up and integrated into our daily lives. I don't know. It's something that I continually sit and look at, and I try not to judge harshly most things in life, because I just, I'm just trying to get by myself. There's plenty of things I will judge, though, but we won't get into it right now. I think bottom line is AI for music, no. I mean, if you use it for your own music and you like it, fine, do your thing. I don't care. But no, I mean, we don't need AI for music. I feel like we can make music just fine on our own. Humans have been doing it for millions of years, thousands if not millions. And the same goes with art. Art for fun, cool. But for the most part, to get exactly what you want, it's better to have an artist, because they're going to be able to communicate. They're going to give you what you want. With this AI stuff, you might ask for like, okay, give me a guy running down the road with a chicken in his hand and a pork belly pig in the other one. So that AI might give you something similar that you're almost looking for, but an artist is just going to like literally start drawing. But then you can be like, okay, can we add an apple tree over there? I mean, you can do that with AI, right? But I don't know. There's just something about it that doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel real, and it isn't. It isn't. It's taking what we've done, humans, and just regurgitating it in a new way. Is it absolute evil? I don't think so. I think the intent is good. I think the intent of AI is, hey, let's try to make things happen quicker. Let's do this. But the problem is now you have all these students that are using AI for their studies, and you're going to have doctors in the ER room that don't know anything about being a doctor. Like, how? Maybe that's a little extreme, but I'm sure that would happen, right? Because if you're cheating on all of your tests using ChatGPT or whatever, you're not internalizing the work. You're not actually learning anything. So you're learning other things. You're learning how to cheat. You're learning how to get by. You're learning how to use AI. And that's a whole nother skill, and a skill that is probably valuable. Absolutely. So I don't know. Like anything, I love music. I love punk rock. I love vinyl. I love skateboarding. And I love my family. I love you guys. But everything else, I'm on the fence. I don't know. We'll see. All right, you guys. Let me know what you think about AI. I would love to hear your thoughts. You know what I don't like? I don't like when people try to tell me what I should or shouldn't do when it comes to anything. AI, my kids, my music, my band, my voice. I don't like to be told what to do. And so when people try to tell me what to do, I usually ignore that. I ignore that completely, or I block those persons. But that's why I love the fact that this community, especially the podcast community, the MXPX community, are so positive. People have their own opinions. They have their own ideas, but they don't tear each other down constantly. And that's what I see on Facebook is just constant political opinion, social opinion, whatever, and then other people just tearing that person down. Whether or not they're right or wrong has nothing to do with it. Just the fact that somebody who has something to say, they're going to say it. I don't care what it is or if it's true. I'm just going to say it. So they get on Facebook and they put dun, 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 and then there's all these other people that are like, I don't care. I'm going to comment. It's entertaining. I'll tell you that. It is entertaining, but it is not healthy, and it's not the life I like to ultimately be part of. So I appreciate you guys for being such a positive community. And I feel like the band and we've all tried to foster that with each other. So it doesn't just happen accidentally. It actually is, it's a thoughtful process. So thank you for the thoughtful process, whether you thought about it or not. All right. Shout out to Bob McKnight for producing, editing, doing all that thing. And I appreciate you guys. Safe travels to you all. Peace.